It's not about I'll postpone and wait to next year. Not in January. No, right now. This constant recalibration is a choice, and it is what will create and become emotional embodied sovereignty. So not by recalibrating and shifting state once, no, but by living this. And this is what it means to lead by example, is how you choose to show up, what identity, which is an energy that you choose to go for. And it's essentially tied directly to what matters most to you, your values, your vision. Welcome to The Rise Show, a podcast for highly driven and spiritual women with big ideas, dreams, and visions. Audacious women just like you, who are committed to their evolution and obsessed about all things personal growth, spirituality, manifestation, and feminine embodiment. I'm your host, Nathalie Banaszak, feminine success and branding coach, and I'm here to support you on your journey and path of expansion. I know you're ready for so much more. Permission granted to go for greatness, your wildest desires, and the most radiant and full expression of the brand called you. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to another episode of The Rise Show. I am so happy you're here with me today and, well, every day, as we're also in the middle of one of the most beautiful and perhaps most emotionally rich seasons of the entire year. As we have been diving deep into December energy for the last couple of weeks, this month has this way of softening us, slowing us down, and at the same time, amplifying everything we're feeling. Perhaps you're nodding as you're listening to me speaking those words. That's exactly what today's episode is about. So how to navigate the holidays while staying grounded in your power and sovereignty, not defaulting to lower draining energy. Because while the holidays can bring joy, magic, love, connection, they can also bring overstimulation, expectations, whether the expectations might be yours or conditioned within you. It can bring out pressure, feelings of stress, old patterns being activated, and, well, much emotional noise. So my intention with today's episode is to offer you a more feminine lens on the holiday season, one that helps you to stay grounded in your body and lead yourself with a soft, loving, sovereign presence. Because ultimately, this is what creates that special glow and radiance from within. Okay, let's dive deeper together. Everything in life is fascinating when you think about it, because everything mirrors what's going on in your inner world. This goes for you, for me, for all of us, whether we know this to be true or perhaps for those who have not even yet made that connection. So let's take December, Christmas and the holidays as a perfect example for how extremely different we experience the world. This is about a lot of things. To name a few: perception, your beliefs, well, our attitudes, and again, what was really going on in our inner world. Some people speed up and go into stress mode for the whole month and beyond. Some people collapse and kind of almost burn out. And some disconnect because it's just too much going on to handle. And some go into performing mode. Everything has to be just perfect, which is like doomed to fail. You know how it is when we think we have the perfect plan. Anyways, these are moments where we can choose to soften, and we can learn how to do this without even trying. So a powerful feminine leadership lens teaches us something beautiful. Your glow and radiance is never something you perform. It's something you inhabit. And your groundness is not control. It's inner safety in your being, knowing that you're safe no matter what, and that you can afford to let go and surrender to the fact of a deep inner knowing that you are infinitely held, backed up, and supported. Your sovereignty is not distancing. It's truly about self-honoring and having crystal clarity about your standards for deep felt self-love and what's true for you and what isn't. So when you bring these qualities together, because this is what it is, it's qualities, it's your states of being. And when you bring this consciously into the holiday seasons, everything shifts. You don't get pulled into emotional chaos or any drama as easily, even when the temptation might be there. And when I say temptation, old patterns getting triggered that lives within your subconscious. And as we always speak about here, the subconscious is sneaky. So we need to be on guard softly. It means that you don't abandon yourself to meet others. Well, most often your own as well, expectations. And you don't shrink, overextend, overgive, or do anything of obligation. No, you move with clear intention, softness, and deep inner leadership. And this is truly what sovereignty is about. I always say that life is our biggest classroom and that we get plenty of opportunities to practice our energy levels every single day, multiple times. And we can choose to see this for what it is, a practice, and to always move forward from the lens that life is happening for us, not to us. So this spans from small and tiny things that shows up to big challenges. So I'm saying this out of respect, as always, for what might be going on in your life right now. But for this episode and for the context of what is, of course, it's going to take a lot more when it's something bigger that's going on. But in its essence, by practicing the small stuff, learning how to navigate, well, we're speaking about Christmas here, the holidays, but really learning how to navigate life and every single area of it, it will get easier. As with everything, we become masters of what we practice. Though we can always choose calm over pressure. You can always decide to say, I choose peace over this. Because most often when we zoom out, we tend to react from personal triggers that isn't really that big of a deal when we drop the meaning we've given it. And this is always very personal. Something that will trigger me would perhaps not even be a thing for you, and the opposite, you know? So this is why it's crucial to know who we truly are from the inside out and to have a relationship with consciousness. So the holidays then gets to be what you want it to be. You set the intention and it's ultimately your choice. So ask yourself, what are the internal and emotional states that you'd love to experience more of this Christmas? And obviously you can extend Christmas to your life. So all we really want is, well, most often feelings of peace, calm, ease, fulfillment, love, connection, not stress, frustration, lack of meaning, separation, feeling unsupported or misunderstood. This is this is not emotional states we would opt in for. So we need to understand the power we actually hold to choose our internal states of being. Because as with all things personal growth, the results and experiences we seek, our highest vision, our dreams, it always starts mentally within our minds as thoughts and words hold a vibration. And as you hear me speak about always, thoughts and words and everything will become things within our bodies in the 3D world. And emotions holds a certain vibration that sets a frequency. Now, this is important. I could expand so much more on this because I speak about frequency and vibration and energy all the time. And like, what do you mean when you speak about frequency? To summarize in a small and powerful way, your frequency is based on the dominant thoughts, feelings, beliefs, attitudes, identities you choose to embody. I could expand way more here, but to make it very easy and to simplify, yes, the dominant emotions that you hold as a default, this is what matters the most. So naturally, as we go through life, of course, we will experience other emotions, and that's not good or bad or horrible. It's just natural. That's not even about it. When we speak about higher frequencies, it's about where you choose to live and lead from. And this you can choose by decision and a very intentional practice. And the reward is just beyond description. How could we ever put a price tag on personal freedom, inner peace, and deep felt love and connection? Like, yeah, it's beyond description. It needs to be felt and experienced. And to just highlight, I really want to emphasize that no, it doesn't mean that we never get triggered as fuck. That, we won't experience sadness, grief, stress, or any of these emotions because it's part of being a human. But yes, we can learn to hold triggers, to hold big triggers, and even pain. Before we go deeper, I want to share something gently. Light Weeks for Rise Mastermind, the Golden Bridge Experience, are officially open. This is a 90-day identity, leadership, and expression mastermind for the woman who knows she's ready for her next level, but wants to enter it with softness, brilliance, and clarity. December is our grounding space, a gentle portal where you reflect, purify, and prepare yourself for what you're stepping into. There is no pressure, no pushing, just resonance, readiness, and extra time for reflection and your journey of becoming. If you've been feeling the pull and call toward a higher version of you, toward more inner power, more radiance, more expression, more sovereignty, and you long for more support and sharing the journey with other rising women, Light Weeks and the Bridge may be exactly what your next chapter is asking for. You can explore everything and apply through the link in show notes. Okay, let's drop back into the episode. And sadness in a way that's deeply feminine, that actually feels light and beautiful, because there is no question that we are sovereign and know how to navigate anything that comes into our lives. And this is really what emotional resilience is all about as well. Emotional intelligence. It's a whole conversation, and it's deeply, deeply linked to, well, the qualities of feminine leadership. So what does it even mean to glow from within? And we're talking about radiance here in Rise, and we're speaking about December, the holidays, Christmas, and we're speaking about it always like this is beyond, an Instagram polished version of it. No, that's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an embodied internal glow that comes from feeling good within your own being. The feminine glow doesn't come from, candles or skincare or perfect holiday moments. Well, it can come from there too, of course. But more essentially, it comes from your nervous system being regulated, your emotions having space to be felt, your boundaries being clean and sovereign, and your body feeling safe no matter what, and your needs being honored in a very healthy way, and your energy being protected as a priority. So when I speak about glowing from within and radiance, this is to create inner room for your true essence to breathe. When your highest self can breathe, authentic expression and your brilliance is the only natural thing. So not expressing your innate self and brilliance is truly suppressing your divinity, and it causes frustration. And this is a lower frequency, and to live with that energy as a preset default is extremely draining. And I know this firsthand. This happens when we're not clear, when we're postponing our potential and dreams and not really fully saying a wholehearted yes to what we truly want. So sovereignty during the holidays is definitely not about being rigid or distant. It's truly about staying connected to your authentic self, even when things get loud around you. So glow from within means you choose where you give your energy, and you notice when your body says no. You honor your emotional truth, and you act from alignment, not autopilot. And every time you might get tempted to close your heart, which means you harden, you choose to soften, making it a priority to keep your heart healthy and open. And you understand that when you honor you, because when you honor you, everyone else around you will honor you and benefit too from the way you treat yourself. So it's impossible to give and share our full self generously when we feel empty, tired, triggered, and drained. But when when we feel calm, grounded, and radiant, it would be unnatural to hold your glow and happiness and spark to yourself. Like I always say, look at the sun. Radiance, glow from within, that's sun energy. And I mean, I think it's pretty fair to say that the sun is pretty damn powerful. Like, look at sun energy and let that energy speak for itself. And yes, we can always practice. For example, as I've shared for these previous episodes, you've heard my own journey of slowing down, which is a forever journey. And as I returned to Sweden from Bali this year for this season, so it's about going straight from the tropics to winter season in the northern hemisphere. And I actually scheduled time for transition. I learned that this is something that I need to do. Old Nathalie would not have really understood that she needed space for it. But this Nathalie, she understands it. So not only because of the season, the fact that the climate is very different, but the time for reset energetically is crucial. And that I know to be true by experience, personally, professionally, and I've seen it over and over again in my own life with clients in my own circle. And yeah, you will hear me repeat this forever. So, well, actually, honestly, one of my biggest lessons this year is still about rhythm and speed. And I really learned, and I keep learning as I'm growing and evolving, that even when I feel that I've been so generous in my planning with giving myself, a project, a transition, something I'm working on in my business, my life, or relationship, whatever it might be, such as in this example, transitioning back from Bali, which is really about another chapter of my transformation. Most often, I will learn that, okay, even when I feel that I've been generous with, the time and spaciousness, most often that means I could honestly perhaps even double and triple the time that I kind of scheduled. And that will probably be more equal to what I really need. And I've seen this with clients over and over again. We tend to be, which is a beautiful thing, very optimistic with time. And time is a very interesting concept of its own, but that's for another episode. Anyway, my point is, in my case here, I needed much more time to rest and to reset that my old self would have used. And by default, my old self wanted to protest. But by practice, my old self, and by that I mean the overachiever, she never wins nowadays because my higher self knows the game and she will win because I decided so. So even if an old ID, as I share here with you, as a protest or even a judgment, if that pop up, I know how to quickly adjust my mind. And when I adjust my mind, I adjust my energy. So this micro shift only takes a second when we know how to play the game. And again and again and again. Of course, it depends on the size and what's going on. But generally speaking, when I speak about opportunities we get during the day to practice this recalibration from what we choose to think, that's something we can do in an instant because we can shift a thought in an instant. And that's directly linked to our energy. So in my case, what we do inside Rise, I treat my energy as my highest currency. And this is what we speak about in all my client containers as well. So in my case, I don't do anything if I don't feel aligned. What I mean by that, I pause to first recalibrate so that my energy is aligned. For example, I would never record a podcast if I would feel out of alignment. I make it a priority to really set my intention because I consider this to be a sacred time that I get to spend with you. And in our world then, leading with the feminine, that means that alignment simply has to come first. And it doesn't have to be complicated to apply it to the holidays to stay on topic. It can be as simple as knowing how much to book in and how much space you need to recharge. Even if it just means, let's say if you are in the middle of a full family gathering and there might be a full house and crowded and noisy, even with those you love. So go to the bathroom, take a 5-10 minute break, stay there for deep breathing, a small meditation, whatever you need to get yourself back to the center and out of reaction mode if you felt you've been triggered. Key point, we slow down, we make it a priority to pause so that we stay grounded and present. And this is the essential step to make sure that we stay sovereign. And this inner shift, it is the real deal. So as you know, I like to share invitations, reflection questions, practical steps you can take to actually implement what we speak about. So here's one invitation, and it's about love, protect your inner glow. And do it not through isolation, but through conscious choice. If something drains you, step back. If something nourishes you, lean in. Ask yourself, what helps me to stay connected to my heart today? So as a couple of examples, like choosing what gatherings actually feel good to you. Take breaks, even small ones, when you need them. Noticing when you start drinking or overgiving. Super, super important. Feel into this invitation. This can shift a whole day for you. Not only a whole day, a moment, something that you're going through. And okay, a second invitation, how to ground into your body. I repeat this always too. Your body, your incredible body, always tells you the truth. Speak with her, build a relationship with her, and you do that by beautifully checking in with her, asking questions to her. For example, how do you feel? Tell me, what do you need? How can I make this softer and lighter for you? Where can I create more space so that we can breathe here? Play with these questions that feels natural to you. And if you've never really, really had a conversation with your body, now is the perfect time to start. Even if it feels unnatural in the beginning, trust it. Everything feels unnatural before we practiced it enough of time, so it becomes natural to us. And let December and the holidays be the month where you really stop overriding your body's wisdom. So when you learn how to ground into your body, you also learn how to recalibrate your entire energy field. Really lean into this, because this is what makes you a potent, powerful, conscious creator. It's so common to believe that rest and slowing down also slow down our desires. I don't know how many times I've had this discussion with clients. There is this belief that manifestations and the results we seek, that they will slow down as we slow down. Nothing could be further away from truth. Of course, we need to make an effort, take the action. I'm the first one to say, hello, you need to really show up for the thing you say you desire. But showing up and taking action is not supposed to be an activity, that's active 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, forever and always. Like, no wonder we get exhausted. Been there, done that. That's what does not work. And that's why we need to practice feminine qualities, because generally speaking, most of us highly driven women, ambitious, overachievers, high achievers, which is not a bad thing, by the way. It's a beautiful quality and characteristic. We only need to learn how to balance our energies, so we have a masterful blend of the feminine and the masculine. And that's when we become powerful in creation. So if let's say you've been going through a very creative time and phase in your life and business, there needs to be a pause in between to anchor and integrate what you've built and created. This is the exact principle of sowing and reaping. This is even how farmers treat the earth. We plant the seeds, we nourish the seeds, and we harvest when it's time. So to summarize, a calm mind is a creative mind. A stressed, bothered, and anxious mind will only manifest more of that energy. It's true in December, it's true during the holidays, it's true every single month of the year, forever and always. So practicing being is truly a feminine art and a challenge for most of us, as I shared during this episode, because we have been so conditioned to be in our constant doing. And we need to simply learn how to restore balance and deep rest, relaxation, and learning these states of being are absolutely key for us to stay open and receptive for what wants to naturally come to us. I remember when I really started to play with the feminine energy, and when I really embarked on a more feminine path, I would ask myself this: Nathalie, how much do you believe you can afford to relax? And I would play with this. And you know what? In the beginning, I remember it would feel almost like a little bit rebellious to take a nap in the middle of the day when I was supposed to get shit done. Old program speaking here. So I would share this. How can you take this example and just link it to Christmas? Oh my God, what if you can afford to relax and actually create time and space to be dazzled, to enjoy and savor the beauty of this gorgeous, magical season, and allow that frequency to fuel your glow and radiance from within? Wow, I would love to hear your thoughts about that. It's a very interesting question. Yes, you can indeed afford to relax. In fact, it's a must for conscious co-creation with the universe. Okay, so third invitation, learning how to lead yourself softly. And this is feminine leadership at its core. You lead not by controlling, but by choosing presence. Not by suppressing emotions, but by witnessing them. Not by performing, but by being who you truly are. So ask yourself with reverence and deep respect, who is the woman I choose to be in this moment? Is this aligned with my higher vision? For me, this is a reset question that always makes the choice easy of how I choose to show up. I set this as a recalibration question for all my clients as well. And it's not about I'll postpone and wait to next year. Not in January. No, right now. This constant recalibration is a choice, and it is what will create and become emotional embodied sovereignty. So not by recalibrating and shifting state once. No, it didn't work. No, but by living this. And this is what it means to lead by example, is how you choose to show up, what identity, which is an energy that you choose to go for. And it's essentially tied directly to what matters most to you, your values, your vision. And I've never yet met anyone who have had this gorgeous vision that not at the same time naturally involves components that would magnify the highest good of all. So going for your potential, your true heart desire holds personal fulfillment, growth, and definitely positive impact in a way that's directly linked to your purpose, your why. So to really ground this episode into what we're talking about, preparing now, identity expansion for January, a brand new year and beyond. So that makes December interesting because naturally, and very much so in the world and industry of personal growth, it does serve as a bridge between what's been, what is, and what's coming next. We can translate this directly to who you have been, who you are now, and the woman you are becoming in 2026 and beyond. Now, she is shaped by all these moments. Every single time you choose the emotional states that creates your feelings of groundedness, really having firm boundaries to protect your energy, is also what creates your glow and radiance, this sun energy that we talked about. And this is what feminine leadership is truly about. And it's not about big decisions only, but the micro choices again and again. Choosing calm, choosing boundaries, choosing presence, choosing radiance, choosing emotional safety, choosing you, which is ultimately about choosing higher love. This makes then December not just a month, it is a portal into your next level identity. It can be for anyone who chooses it. So the way you move through December is the way you begin January. And January will meet you at the level of your inner leadership. Again, this is the foundation of feminine sovereignty. And this is exactly the energy we begin anchoring inside Light Weeks, Rise Mastermind, and the Golden Bridge experience as we move toward mid-January when we officially begin together. And well, when I speak about beginning, it is essentially a journey of evolution and expansion. And the themes within the mastermind are built around these topics: radiance, grounding, identity, sovereignty, embodiment, expression, transformation, as they are the heart of my mentorship. So if something in you has been awakening during these December episodes and you genuinely have a desire for deeper self-leadership, clearer identity, and a more elevated field, and you're just curious about expanding your potential and what's possible for you to create, and you want to really start attracting your wildest dreams by really calibrating your field, well, I want to extend a very intentional invitation that I'm just so lit up about. Light Weeks, which is our December soft opening for the bridge, is still in motion, but not forever. So for this moment, which means until December 19, the bridge is a beautiful space for 4 to 6 women, high frequency experience. It's a journey, a transmission, and the women who step into this room don't do it from pressure. They do it because they know the power of choosing their circle wisely. Because energy amplifies in the right container and identity expands in the right room. Every visionary woman I know, in business, in leadership, in creativity, has a space where she is held back up, fully seen, challenged, elevated, and supported. And I speak from my own personal experience here as well. And you who have been with me for a long time, you know why I speak about sisterhood and the power of community all the time. Because being part of a sisterhood and women who are on a similar path as you, who are rising and aiming higher, is definitely not a nice to have. It is a must have for any woman who truly believes that we thrive when we feel like we belong and when we give ourselves what we need to feel infinitely supported, led by a method and framework where we are guided and encouraged to step into our greatness and highest potential the feminine way. So if you've been feeling the call toward entering a new and elevated field and toward being surrounded by women who rise the way you rise, this may be your moment. There is an incredibly potent power of the word yes. It's the frequency of a decision. So if it feels right, explore the details in the show notes and step into my world, my field, with clarity, surrounded by others who are rising next to you. Because your next level is never random. It's chosen. Okay, time to wrap up. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Thank you for tuning in, for being here with me. And thank you for choosing presence, softness, and for choosing yourself, because you're truly gifting the world with more light as you do so. And I really hope these invitations that I shared help you feel this glow and groundedness from within, not because you're trying, but because you're staying connected to who you truly are during the holidays and during actually every season. So I'll see you next week for a very special Christmas episode, and then we'll speak about the frequency of love. So to be continued. And until then, lead yourself softly and powerfully, and let your inner radiance be enough. If you loved this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you get updates anytime I post a new episode. And if you're feeling extra generous, go ahead and share this with a sister you know needs to hear this message and leave a review. It would mean so much, as I love to envision a world with more feminine, embodied leaders. If you're looking to further grow, evolve, and expand your life and business, connect with me on Instagram and sign up for my Rise newsletter. Get ready to receive special announcements, inspiration, high vibe, self-empowerment, tips, hacks, and tools on how to become the woman you most want to be right into your inbox. Link in the show notes. Until next time, have a gorgeous week.